quick recap video. I'm not going to recap. I mean, there were so many examples in this section that basically I just want to go over some highlights. First of all, how do you do these kinds of problems? Guys, you've got the clipped out little set of steps, but here are the highlights of this. Read the problem carefully. Draw a diagram. Always draw a diagram. Label it as much as possible. Define a variable that has to do with your problem. When you define your variable, figure out what the domain of that has to be. It's going to help you at the end to get rid of extraneous solutions. Write equations. More is better. Here's one I didn't include on this. Look for right triangles. We've solved that on a couple of problems. There was a right triangle in the problem, in a cone. The height, the radius, make a right triangle, which gives you another equation, which then allows you to eliminate variables as you possibly can. What you want is you want something with one variable at the end of the day before you find the derivatives and critical points. Do not forget to analyze endpoints. It is important to make sure that endpoints have been taken into account when you're looking for minima and maxima. Also, something I didn't write on here that I'll throw in, second derivative test. Do not assume that because you found a critical point that it must be the minimum or maximum that you're looking for. Make sure that you demonstrate that yes, in fact, this is a maximum using the second derivative test, or yes, in fact, this is a minimum using that second derivative test. If you just say, oh, look, critical point at 10, it doesn't make it a maximum. It just makes it a critical point. All right, what else do we have? Economics. Economics is a specialized field, and there's some specialized vocabulary. Marginal revenue, marginal cost, marginal profit, defined as the rate of change of revenue, cost, or profit, respectively, with respect to your input variable. The marginal is used to determine the effect of small changes in production. What do we know about economics problems? Well, since profit is equal to revenue minus cost, we can find the maximum profit by setting the profit derivative equal to 0, the marginal profit equal to 0, and if the marginal profit is equal to 0, then the marginal revenue and the marginal cost must be equal to each other. Write that down, put it in your notes, keep track of it. You will need that right there. What else do we know? Well, we can define average cost as the total cost, C of X, divided by X, the number of units you have produced. To minimize average cost, what are we going to do? Well, we showed in the video that you can minimize the average cost by making the marginal cost equal to the average cost and then solving for the number of units of production necessary to make that happen. Guys, I believe that that is everything in this section. It is not a long section, but it is an important section. These examples that I gave you are examples that are done on a daily basis of how can we minimize the amount of material to make something? How can we maximize the volume of something? How can we minimize our profit, maximize our profit or minimize our average cost? These are not always the only decisions that are taken into account when you are running a business. For example, the maximum volume of a box turns out to be a cube. So why doesn't cereal come in cubic boxes? It would minimize the amount of material to maximize the amount of cereal. Well, obviously, a cubic box would be really hard to pour cereal out of it, so you make it wide enough to hold. But knowing where the maximum and minimum points are allows you to make rational and educated decisions. Okay, hopefully this has been enjoyable, and we will see you next time.